Hello, bike nerds from around the world, and welcome back to the Bikes for Death podcast. I'm your host, Patrick, and on this show, we talk about bike packing, adventuring, and the cool people who participate. This is going to be the second episode in my Bikepacking Summit series. Today we have Greg Hardy, which for me is a really special interview. It was about this time last year that I sat down with him to record my first ever podcast at Rockgeist World Headquarters in Asheville, North Carolina. So being able to come full circle and interview him around the exact same time of year, and I'm going to be releasing this episode within about a week of when his original one was released. So it's just a pretty neat thing, and it was really nice to be able to catch up with Greg and see how well he's doing and all the new things that he's got going on. So I can't wait to have you listen to this episode. I think you're really going to enjoy it. But before we get to it, I just need to mention a few items of housekeeping. First off, if you've been using the Amazon affiliate link, I have appreciated that, but unfortunately, Jeff Bezos has shut me down. I got an email a couple days ago that I had violated their terms of service. It didn't say what I did, but they basically just shut the account down, no questions asked. So I'm going to work on appealing that and figuring out if I can get that back up and running. But for now, it's not working, so that's a bummer. But I have good news. I have found the perfect van that I would like to turn into the Bikes or Death mobile podcasting studio. I know you've heard me talking about it on the podcast, and I'm ready to jump in and make that a reality. I've started a GoFundMe. I'm looking to get $5,000, and then I will kick in the rest to convert the van into a sweet podcasting studio, something that I could it's going to be basic. I'm going to throw a bed in the back, have some chairs and a table and some microphones and a camera. Oh, that's the other thing is I'm committing to do video podcast. So if we get this van up and running, I'm going to set up video camera equipment in there to be able to record the interviews, and then I'll release the video and the audio, probably release that on YouTube. So please, if you can, every little bit helps. I know every telethon says that, but it's actually true. If everybody who listened to this show gave $1, I could easily buy that van. So please, if you can, head over to GoFundMe. The link is on my Instagram. It's on my Facebook. I need to put it on the website. I'll get that done today. But if you just go to GoFundMe, it's Bikes or Death. Pretty easy to find. And I appreciate everybody who's already kicked in. I started that yesterday, and I already have people throwing in money, so I appreciate that. I'm looking to try to get this funded as soon as possible before someone else buys this van, so please don't delay. Let your conscience lead the way to GoFundMe and help Bikes or Death get a sweet ass van. But for y'all, what is the benefit for you? Well, when I have this van, what I'd like to do is do more traveling and do more interviews on location. So I just got back from the Bikepacking Summit, which was awesome. Got to interview a lot of really neat people there. I'm headed to Patagonia, Arizona. The Spirit World 100 race is going on, and they've asked me to come in and cover that event. So I'm going there. And then I know of some other opportunities that I can't announce yet that are going to be coming up in the future. So what I'm envisioning is me going all over the country, interviewing people and meeting people. Hopefully a lot of listeners, I'll be able to engage and interact with y'all on a personal level. If I'm more out and about and more accessible. So yeah, I'm really looking to hopefully do some meetups or just kind of hey, I'm going to be here, come and hang out. Let's go ride bikes. Let's drink a beer. Let's hang out and tell lies, whatever. Right. So, all right. Well, that's it. That's my sales pitch for van life. Go to GoFundMe and donate if you can, if you think it's a rad idea and you want to help that become a reality. This is normally a part of the show. If you're listening to other podcasts where you're listening to advertisements, you don't have advertisement here, but you do have me asking for money. So please support Bikes or Death. It means a lot. Also, lastly, the only thing I will ask is that if you can go over to iTunes and leave a 5-star review, it is very helpful and very appreciated. Now, let's get to the show, and we're going to hear Miles Arbor's intro song that he created and performed on his episode. If you missed that, I highly recommend you go check it out. But you're about to hear his song, so we're going to lead the show and close the show with Miles Arbor and his version of the Bikes for Death intro song.
You load up your bike, you ride away from home. You could be with your friends or you could be alone. You ride for a day or maybe more. You just love being in the great outdoors. Everything you need is strapped to your bars, including that new pillow you got from Santa Claus. And then you think, oh shit, to yourself. You left that super lightweight tent on the living room shelf. Bikes or death. Bikes or death. Podcast.
So right now we're at Mulberry Gap in North Georgia, Bikepacking Summit, and third annual Bikepacking Summit.
Yeah.
I was fortunate to be part of the second one, and Neil and Lindsay invited me back this year. So yeah. And
What are you presenting on?
So I will be talking about alcohol stoves, and if the cards are aligned, everyone will be making one.
What
So-
would cause them not to make one? Bad instruction, or
yeah. Well, this is my first time doing like a group build like this.
Okay.
And so we'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't know if people are gonna be into it or what,
Yeah.
but
Oh, I think they're gonna be really into it.
I hope so. But I mean, it's also
This is like being a kid 101. You know, like someone's gonna teach you how to make this cool thing that makes fire out of a can.
they're toys.
They're toys.
They're
yeah.
toys. Yeah. So last year, I gave a talk on fabrics, and it was a pretty, I won't say technical, but it was a lot of like information on
Yeah.
fabrics.
No, you went nerdy in front of a bunch of people
Yeah,
about fabric.
right. I mean, we're talking about like UV damage. We're talking about like zipper forces, like
Yeah.
before and after use, and
Which is something that I talked about on the first podcast. Is
oh, that's right.
damn good resourceful information on your website.
Yeah.
But yeah, like in a lecture kind of.
Right. And I try to spice over the context. I don't know if I told you this.
I'm not trying to dog your presentation.
No,
I'm
no.
just, you know what I'm saying.
But we talked about like the foot per mile for like the Triple Crown, all those three races, how they compared,
Okay.
the percent completion rate for all those three races.
Mm.
And so I mean, I was giving context for why do people pack lightweight.
Yeah.
And-
Context is good.
Yeah. But I think the whole feedback on that whole weekend was like, it'd be nice to actually get out of your seat and do stuff, get your hands on, and certainly like today we got a chance to ride to one of the talks.
Right.
Just get moving. We're
Yeah.
here.
So is that new for
Correct.
the way that they're doing this summit?
Yeah, well, I don't know how they did the first year, but it sounded like the first year was also very similar to the second, where they'd had one venue and they kind of hung out there.
Yeah.
But tons of space out here, lots of gravel, really great single track to connect and explore. So
This is actually like in your backyard, so to speak.
yeah, I honestly, man, it's such a beautiful and amazing resource to have. Like, it's a home away from home. That's not like some cheesy saying. It really is. Like, you come here, and for me, it's a short drive. It's 3 hours from
Yeah.
Asheville, and whoa.
Branch just fell on a cabin. We're fine.
So Kate and Andrew, like, they really take care of you.
They're
Whether they just met
awesome.
you or you've been going for years.
Yeah, I'm gonna interview them. I'm super excited.
Excellent.
Yeah, they're
Excellent.
yeah. This is like a bike packing, and they're trying to make it like bike packing oasis. They have cabins, they have camping, they got showers. I mean, they cook you food.
And that's the food,
The
man.
food.
The food. It's like, you think about the best supported race you ever did. 10x that, and then
magnitude.
yeah.
Yeah. It's great. It is grandma cooking in the kitchen. No shit.
yeah, legit.
For real.
Yeah,
And it's good.
and they're bike packers. They know what you need.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, they're not
Right.
Yeah.
The people running it are cyclists and bike packers. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, man. But it's crazy because when I was driving here for the first time, what's the name of the national forest we're in?
Cajada.
Cajada. I'm like, where am I going? Because I am in a national forest right now, and I'm going to private property. So they just have this amazing inholding in center of this national forest. So you're surrounded by national forest. There's no one else out here.
Right.
It's just us and a bunch of bike nerds and cool
Yeah.
people and beer and
And
great
mountains.
food and mountains,
Yeah.
rivers. We're sitting outside and we are just now feeling like the first tickles of fall.
It's about time. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, it's crazy because yesterday at this time it was hot and humid
Mm-hmm.
and it's very nice right now.
Yeah.
No. Well, anyway, all right. This is actually a really special episode and I'm super excited about it. It's just funny how like the universe works out sometimes, because I mean, everybody probably knows, but I started the podcast by reaching out to you, and that's how this whole thing kicked off. And it was like this same time period last year. So I'm gonna release this
to the
episode
week.
to the week.
Yeah.
I'm gonna release this like on the anniversary, and it's just I don't know, dude. I mean, I owe you so much. Like, if you had said no, like I probably would have got an interview, but I don't know who it would like. It would have like altered my. I don't know. It definitely would have been.
You would have got here. Trust me, without interview, absolutely.
Well,
and I was honestly, congrats on the success. I mean, I could, this is obviously a passionate thing that you really care about, and you can tell.
Yeah.
Like, every episode is dialed. It's like you put a lot of thought and energy into it.
Thank you.
And so you deserve all the success and growth that you had.
You're gonna make me cry. Nice. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's been fun, but it all started with you. So
and that's super cool to be a part of. Yeah,
dude. I mean, that forever. That's how it started.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm back here a year later. It's just perfect. Like I'm in a really happy place right now.
Yeah,
it's fun. We got to catch up. It's been a year.
Yeah. Yeah. So now I think when we last talked, I was getting ready to kind of promote the rental program. And so now we're just over a year into that, and starting to think about has that worked or not.
Yeah.
And I was looking at some of the numbers and what do I want to take it next year and the year after that, because I think that has some real value to certainly beginner bike packers and growing the sport. I think that's like kind of a unique thing that I think more companies should be doing.
Right.
But it is hard.
So since the last episode, has anyone else started doing rental bag programs? Because you actually put that out there and you're like, hopefully other companies will do this too.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I used to do a lot better job of keeping in touch with other
Right.
companies, but I kind of fell off with staying in touch with them. And
Well, that's interesting.
not that I know of, but
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, please correct me.
I have an interesting thought on that. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you feel this way at all. It might just be a time thing, but like I've intentionally like kind of like not listen to other podcasts about cycling and what's, it's like
Mhm.
I'm trying to like stay in my own space and stay in my own lane and not
Yeah.
be influenced. So like, is there any element of that, or is it just like,
no, definitely.
okay, yeah,
I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, you have plans, you have goals, and distractions are, that's the thing, is minimizing them. And
Mhm.
if you're on Instagram and Facebook and, just kind of getting down that other companies are doing new stuff or they have new products out, and how that relates to what you've been doing. And that's a toxic way, I think, to go about,
right.
Progress.
Oh yeah.
And certainly it's nice to catch up with people, but not in a sense of like one-upping each other. It's just giving each other encouragement. So yeah, I think that's a big part. I mean, we're all small companies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Jay Ritchie's up there. And
Yeah.
I just met him for the first time.
Well, there's a lot of brands here that
Yeah.
sell shit.
Right, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, but I don't know. For rental, I hope people do kind of take that somewhere. Maybe so. Like, there's the small companies. I always feel like I give like a craft beer analogy.
Okay.
Like the smaller bikepacking companies are the craft beer equivalent, and like the
Right.
bigger bikepacking companies are like the Budweiser, Coors Light.
Yeah.
And so if we can convince people to start drinking craft beer, that's a win for all of us.
All right. I'm down with that.
And so so a smaller company that takes off, I mean, that's great for everybody who's kind of in that world.
Yeah. It's one of those things, one does good, then we all do good. Yeah.
Right. And just even the awareness of smaller makers, because I think there's some stigma about like the size of a company relating to its quality. And in some cases, you might say, okay, the smaller the company, the lower the quality. And I think that's obviously not true for everybody.
Yeah, I don't have that same feeling. I'm wondering why you have that perception. Is that based on feedback that you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
'Cause
or maybe it's just me being. That's my thought on it. But
Well, I mean, most people know I reached out. I ordered your bags and used your product before I ever interviewed you.
yeah,
And like I mean, it was I sought out a person who I thought would make a good bag. Like,
but how do you know that though? That's the thing. Like, it's hard to understand.
I mean, I'll say it again. Like, your website is really good. For me, if you go and like look through all of the detail that you've put into it, it's it's pretty impressive. You know. And then I think your marketing and just the look and everything just appealed to me. I mean, there's always an element of that.
Yeah, right. Right.
But I didn't know this at the time, but what y'all are doing with the sub 24-hour routes, like, dude, that's fucking cool. Like, that's just a gift to the community.
Yeah.
And the rental program is kind of like a gift to the community. You are not making money
No,
on
zero.
on a rental
Yeah.
program. Let's be honest. Like,
No.
you are only doing that because you want people to come and ride in Pisgah. I think. I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I know
yeah,
a little bit of the story.
absolutely. I mean, so we had 50 people over the course of the year rent stuff, about 50 people.
Yeah.
And almost all of them were beginners. And so these are people who would either identify as like they're just starting out or never been before. And I think what you said with the sub 24-hour routes, I mean, we started doing those, and I think those really help people. Now they have somewhere to go. So they were talking to the same person. They're talking to me who's written this route. I'm telling them to go on and giving them bags I personally made. So they have kind of, the means and the destination tied together.
Yeah, it's an all-in-one. I mean, it's fucking awesome. Like you said, I don't know anyone else that's doing that, but that's the way it should be. Like, you should be able to just go into a town. If there's a bag maker, you go in your local bike shop, ideally, and there's some rental bags there, and they'll strap them up on a bike, and there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, I get it.
And definitely shout out to Logan and bikepacking.com with what they just like last week with the single overnighter kind of call to action to the whole world, really. I mean, they're looking to spread that everywhere.
I thought of you whenever I saw that. I was like, shit, I know who started that one.
No, I mean, the thing is,
the truth is, I know Logan's been working on his for a long time too.
Absolutely, and the bikepacking.com has done tons of these sub 24-hour routes.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like,
there's a lot of them. They already had a sub 24-hour category,
right? And I don't even know that's true, but I think they coined that term as well.
Oh yeah. So no, I mean, I'm just talking shit.
but that's just what I do. Like, and I hope you convince him to sit down with you.
No, he's going to.
Okay, yeah,
he is going to. Well, one thing I wanted to mention was, do you remember what Ultra Romance Ronnie Romancer said about routes?
No,
today?
What part?
Routes are the most important part of bike packing. I don't know if I 100% agree with that, but you were just talking about your routes.
Yeah.
But, I can kind of see where he's coming from with how accessible that makes it. I mean, you're just really making it easy. You're just like, here, download this in your phone. Here's a bike. Here's a bag. You're a bike packer. Like, it doesn't get any easier than that.
I think the rental program substantiates that because it didn't really take off until we had the routes finished. We did the rental program first, and then it was okay.
Yeah.
And then people didn't start coming in until they had places to go.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So as the routes develop, the hope would be that more people come and rent bags and just come hang out in the area and whatnot.
Yeah. For the routes, I mean, we have obviously North Carolina. We have a good handful that they're great, and we're trying to expand that just on the East Coast. It gives me a chance to ride, and that's like huge, right?
The tax write-off now.
Oh yeah, right. If I fly home to see my parents in New York, it's like, all right, I got a bike there.
Dude, I have a podcast. What do you think I'm doing?
Oh my God. but yeah, so we want to get it, to all the states on the East Coast.
Yeah.
And certainly because I feel like in some ways, not all the ways, but in some ways, the East Coast is underrepresented in terms of bike packing companies.
Right.
If you look at the heat map of all the bad companies, they're all Rocky Mountains or West Coast.
Interesting. Do you think you face different challenges? Like, would you make your bag differently based on the environment you think it's being ridden in?
No, because we ship all over the world.
Right, so it has to be.
I just did the numbers last week, so we're getting ready to do another grant pitch
Okay.
next week. We can talk about that later, but I was doing some numbers on our finances, and 16% of our sales are international, which is, for our side of the company, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
And then 14% are North Carolina, and then
wow.
then the rest are just,
That's it. I would have expected North Carolina to be more, actually.
Right.
Were you surprised by that?
Well, no, because when I started, a year ago, it was like under 10% was North Carolina.
Okay.
Because it was just a website. Like, I didn't have, like, Asheville that didn't exist for me yet.
I gotcha.
So I never had like a home base, and I just had the website, and of course that's just random.
Anyone can have a website.
Yeah, it's the internet connection, and then next, a few weeks later, you had a kit. So,
the beginning of Rockgeist.
Yeah.
Yeah, but 16% outside, like internationally. I love to look at my numbers specifically internationally. It's fascinating to get messages from all over the world from people who are, using your bags or listening to your show or whatever it is. The community in this world is shrinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel so good,
And we're getting our photo fit instructions translated to like major languages.
Yeah.
It's not hard to do, but there are some very key points we really want done right, and having it in your native language is super helpful.
Yeah.
A lot of people know English enough to navigate product selection, and they can purchase stuff.
Right.
But getting that photo, like, really trying to get that streamlined.
Yeah.
And so
if we're talking about numbers and fun statistics, you're a scientist. So it's been a year since the last time we sat down. Like, in the last year, what is the most exciting thing that happened to your company, or that,
Yeah. Last year, I didn't know if I wanted to try to scale. Like, I didn't know if it was ever going to be just me and one other person making custom gear.
Okay.
Or if I was going to have, and I say scale, it's like relative. Like, do I want to have like 5 people helping make custom gear, and I want to be able to pay them a good amount of money for what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so I have made that decision that I do want to try to grow. And so I think that commitment is the first step before you can actually obviously grow.
Yeah.
And then the second part, just solving the problem, it's hard, but as long as you're committed to it, I think it's going to either get solved or not. And so we'll see what happens.
Well, this is what we were talking about earlier. I was telling him that I love the way he looks at his business, as he looks at it from a scientist perspective. And this is something that I realized by re-listening to like when I'm editing, I'm just editing. Like, I just want it to sound good.
Right, you're doing work.
I'm working.
Yeah.
But, after time, I'll go back and like listen to him, like, for real. But a time will pass, and then it's kind of like new again. But anyway, so whenever I listen to it back, I'm like, this guy is approaching his business like as a scientist and very seriously. Like, you look at it and like, this is a problem, and I'm going to figure out the most effective, efficient, use of my time, the best material, the most streamlined process,
Yeah. And it's challenging because it's custom gear, and the biggest criticism I get on this company is you can't scale custom gear. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that. And it's a legitimate point. There's a point behind that. I'm not saying that that's true. We're trying to do it.
Okay, well, play the devil's advocate, because not being a bag maker, no one's ever told me that before. So
yeah, right.
Yeah. Me as just like a business person and an entrepreneur, if someone says you can't scale this, I think of McDonald's or something. It's like anything could be scaled if you do it the right way or figure out the right. Anyway, but yeah. So what's the devil's advocate here?
Well, at least I put it in context. So it's like, mass production is kind of, if you have a product and you can not keep that custom, you can, I guess you just make as much as you can produce, right?
Right.
And so if you want to change every single product based on like the bike, it's going to put limitations, obviously, on like what you can batch cut, and can you contract out to this company? You have one MI that makes this one product, but if you're making custom frame bags, that one MI has to be flexible to deal with that custom part to it. And so, you think about companies that are scaling, like, we'll use Revelate, for example. They have discrete sizes, and, certain frame bags are just, that's it. And if it doesn't fit, it's not their fault. It's like almost like the customer's fault for not selecting the right size.
Right.
You
didn't measure your bike correctly,
yeah.
sir.
And so with custom, I am responsible for that fit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a big difference. And that can be tough to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my thought is like, if it takes, I don't know what the numbers are. If it takes one person can make a custom bag a day, whatever it is, then, and you just get more orders. If you want to scale, you just hire more people, right? I mean,
throwing people at problems is dangerous.
Interesting.
That is a dangerous approach to that.
I think I know what your answer is, but why?
Well, I mean, this is just my take. I'm not saying this is the right way to do it, but it's the systems that these people are working in. And so, I mean, are they working in the most efficient system? If you want to get more out of employees, and you want to get more production, if you want that ceiling to increase, it's not just about putting more people on the floor. It's like, how do you accommodate a more efficient process from what you need and what you value as a bike packer, and to how we build that product. And systems are definitely the way to scale.
I remember you talking about this last time.
Yeah, and now I've been like really kind of like really driving this point home to myself, and really trying to understand what's going to work and what hasn't, because I think I've done it long enough where I can understand what's failed and where what might have success. But if you look at all these bikepacking companies that do custom work, none of them are big, and big in the sense that like they can take market share from like Revelate or Apidura.
Right.
And so it hasn't been really done, I guess, in the sense of a scaling.
Yeah. Again, this is the way you're like, I'm just like, more people. And you're like, nope, that's wrong. This is why you're wrong. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
Certainly, but
can you give me an example? All right, no, go ahead.
You have to invest in people at some point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People, I mean, that is one part of it. Like, there's an element that you cannot overlook, right? No matter how efficient your systems are, you can't grow with, just a handful.
That's not what
of
I took away from what you're saying. I understand.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, you're talking about developing a smart and intelligent, streamlined process, a system to complete a task.
Correct.
And people are going to be needed to do that. But with a good, intelligent system, you minimize the potential for failure. Maybe. Did I get close?
Yeah.
How'd I do? Teach.
but here's the thing, like, I don't know the answers, right? Because there's like this.
Well, that was I was going to ask you. I mean, do you feel like you're close to kind of? Are you? Is that what's molding around in your mind all the time? Is figuring out this system?
Yeah, it's a never-ending like Rubik's Cube, and there's certainly companies that you can study and like learn from, like Ovea Negra. I think they've done a great job with how they've scaled. I mean, if you kind of look back at the history of that company, even like, and I don't know any intimate details of how they operate or anything, but just from an outsider's perspective, it's amazing to see what they have accomplished. And how they kind of treat their business and how they kind of operate. We're in a new industry. Last 10 years of the soft bag kind of, back when Revelate and a few others started. And so it hasn't been this long history we can draw upon, for companies to pop up and learn from.
Yeah. It seems to me like you enjoy this. Do you enjoy the process of figuring this out? Like
Yeah, I mean, it's tough though. It's tough to always, like, you're wrong a lot of the times, So it's tough to be positive, And
is there a part of you that, like, do you think if you weren't doing this, like, you would just have some other puzzle you'd be figuring out? Like, do you feel like your mind needs to be doing that?
In some ways, but I think that's it could be just absolutely. I mean, challenges in any form, whether physical or mental or with business, but. I think for sure for me, my last job, it was certainly challenging, but I was kind of looking for a more personal challenge, I guess. But you can talk to anybody. I mean, going through life, kind of just waking up and doing stuff. I mean, it's boring, right? Like,
well, yeah,
you gotta like have something to kind of work for.
yeah,
every day.
you need to work on that. Well, I thought you were gonna say ride your bike.
I was like, exactly, yeah.
That's what you need to work on.
But I want to get out on the bike a lot more. And
but you're also depending on that business. Like, it's not a game.
No, it's not.
I mean, this is your job. This is your reality. You have to grow. I mean, it is.
But I think that's why I was so excited about the S24 routes that we're doing, because it's like, it's part of the growth, and I get to ride my bike.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the thing.
So how often are you doing that then?
Well, so recently I was like, we did about.
You were dropping them hot there.
Yeah, because we had it was a great summer, and it's just finding the time to do it. And one night, like you can usually squeeze out just like a one night trip.
Yeah. Is that what you tell yourself?
Yeah.
Come on, Greg, you can.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
And I had them queued up. I'm fortunate to have a bunch of people give me some great routes that they know of, that they've done.
Yeah.
And so all I do is just pack the camera and go ride it.
Is that how it's getting done? The community's like just giving. They know what you're doing.
And I just started soliciting them. So I got to put it out there now. Like, if you have a route that you're looking to share with people, I'll exchange a frame bag for it.
Ooh.
So I think
that's a really good deal.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like,
it's got to be a legit route. Like,
well, in some ways yes, but in some ways no. I mean, like, if it's great, like dog packing route, or if it's great, bring your kids on.
But
like, certainly, yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you don't want people going on Google Maps and like, hey, send that one to Greg.
No,
right.
Like,
you want someone to like send you a good,
genuine, be genuine about it,
Okay.
And I really enjoy it, because it's like, there's so much great riding on the East Coast, and we have, the population is so dense here, and there's so many different segments, like national forest on the East Coast, that's a lot of our public land.
Yeah,
and they're all different. There's really cool stuff in each one, and they're all within like 4 or 5 hours of driving from somewhere, like some big cities. Certainly, like Virginia, they have tons of public land in Virginia, and North Carolina, and Georgia, and Vermont. We did one in Vermont, which I was super stoked about.
How many do you have right now?
We had 8.
That's pretty good. Yeah,
but 4 came in like a month.
That's true, but we did roll call was your first one, right?
And then the winter happened. So then
the winter happened.
That was and it gets cold in Asheville. I mean,
but that was a lot of fun. Just remembering back, like I left a wedding to come to that. Like, we had gone up there for a wedding, and then I reached out to you, and I convinced, like, I actually didn't even ask my wife. This is how cool. I'll sometimes I've said something bad about my wife before on the podcast, so I'll make up for it real quick.
There you go.
Nothing real. I don't even remember what I said, but anyway, like, I just was like, dude, it was really nice. Like, when I walked away from that interview, like, I was on cloud 9. Like, I
got the ball rolling. I
felt like it went well. Like, I was like, I don't know if I knocked it out of the park or anything, but I was like, I didn't fuck up. I knew there was something good there,
Yeah.
And so, of course, I called my wife. I'm like, yeah, it was great. He was great. Super nice. Easy to talk to. Oh, yeah, it was really nice. He invited me on this trip. And, but I was like, bummer, darn that wedding. And it was one of her friends, and she was like, oh, you can go. So, she just offered to let me go. And so I had to dip out of the wedding.
But it was fun, though. I mean, those things are fun, especially you get a group of people. And
that was a great.
And I think it's like, you don't have to know them like all that well, really. I mean, a lot of the communication with bikepacking, especially, it's like some forum somewhere, or on Instagram, and someone, like, people come to my shop and they're like from Rhode Island. This happened last week. It's like, I'm from Rhode Island. I got this route. If you're ever in the area, we should ride it. It's like, cool. Like, that's awesome. And it's like, it's just for one night. So, like, how much? It's great. You meet these people, but let's say you don't get along, it's just a night. It's like, whatever.
Anybody can do a night.
Yeah, right.
If you can't, you can get on your bike and ride it away, I guess. But no, I mean, well, the truth is, like, I keep saying this, but I haven't met anyone like that's like really bikepacking centric, like into it for the right reasons. That isn't just like really cool and down to earth.
Right. Absolutely.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're here surrounded by 50. I think there's like 60 people here.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a few beginners, but
Mm-hmm.
seems like most people are fairly experienced.
Yeah.
Cyclists and bikepackers. But
Yeah.
anyway, the point is like everyone's super.
And that's cool because you can learn a lot from them because they're experiencing ways that, you know, you're not or I'm not, you know, and, you know, we might consider ourselves experienced, but, you know, in certain.
Yeah, in
certain
that
lanes.
thing.
Yeah.
You're experienced in that.
Right.
But there's a lot of other things out there.
Yeah, and that's why like, these are so cool to be part of. You get to see that. I mean, there's a lot of people from all over the world here.
Dude, did you cry when Joe gave his presentation this morning?
Well, okay, so you heard from my 2 truths and a lie. I'm kind of emotional sometimes, but yeah, man, I was tearing up for sure.
I was too. I'm not a crier, but dude, that guy speaks with passion. He speaks well and intentionally.
Yeah,
and he's also just like, I don't know. He's powerful.
He's very deliberate with his words and very articulate. Joe Cruz Pedaling, I think that's his Instagram handle. But if you haven't heard of him, definitely check him out. My girlfriend's here, and I'm so glad she got to see that presentation because I can't really articulate the way he does. When I'm trying to explain to her like where I'm going, what I'm doing, it just falls flat. It doesn't ring like the way Joe presented it.
Because he was talking with tears right behind his eyes. Like I talked to him about it, and I mean, it was right here.
Yeah.
His emotions were right at the surface. He never got all the way there, but it was that intensity and that feeling was there. Oh man,
and you could feel it. Yeah.
Oh god, everyone felt it. I mean, people were crying and but not like I don't know. You just had to be there. That's what I'm gonna say. That was a once in a lifetime.
It's so cool to see these people that really kind of like push that limit of like the bikepacking experience. And then everybody's on that spectrum and they can relate to it, even if it hasn't been like a transformative experience like he was describing and sharing with us. But we see elements, you know, in these shorter trips, you know, or
absolutely,
and even like a route. Like
that's why we get emotional. We are connecting.
You totally connect with that. Yeah, and so to have Julie see that was really cool. I was happy that.
So what was her takeaway? Equally blown away.
I think she finally understood like why I never show up on time for these routes. It's like I'm always finishing like a day late or something.
Yeah. You're just happy, man. It's hard. I climbed a mountain in West Virginia by myself, just a kind of a small one, but I got up there and it took everything I had to come back down that mountain.
Right.
This is nice. It's really nice.
Yeah, and it's really hard to describe to people who aren't also doing it, and
yeah, that's a good point. Like Joe, I mean, I could easily relate to him, but someone that wasn't even a bike packer or an outdoor enthusiast would have been moved by what he was expressing.
She teared up for sure.
Yeah. So you just said a word, transformative.
Yeah.
That reminded me. You said transformative.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. And I never followed up. So in the first one, you said you had a transformative experience. I don't even remember. Like honestly, that just cued in, but it was like that led you to do Rockgeist or led you to.
That's right. I think so. We were talking about that in the context of how I started the company and how I got into bikepacking. Maybe
right. Something like that.
Probably how I got into bikepacking. But yeah, I mean, I think it was experience that changed the way I behaved. I think for me that's the definition of a transformative experience.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a literal definition.
Well, but yeah, it also. But I think the key thing there is that it's not just in the moment you feel different or you feel like this sense of wonder, but when you get back from the trip, you behave differently because of that. Like you do different things because of that experience well into the future.
Yeah, and
that's what really makes it transformative, right? And that's literally yeah.
So what was that experience?
I was in grad school and I've always wanted to travel and I wanted to study abroad really bad in undergrad. But I played soccer and so I didn't have any time. And so when I got to grad school, I was like, all right, I made a decision like I got to get out of the US and see some things. And so I was at a conference and this was in Switzerland and it was like a 3-day conference and then I was going to fly home like 10 days later. And so I had 10 days to kind of do what I wanted to. And the conference was already in the mountains. And so it was an opportunity for me to just kind of get out and explore. And I was super naive, like super naive. I'm 24, 25 at this point.
Yeah.
And like I was still working out and I was kind of fit. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna rent a bike and bike over to the Matterhorn, this iconic mountain in Switzerland.
Yeah.
But I was really far away. And there's an alpine route that I got on from the conference, and it kind of snakes up and over the Alps. I think there was 3 mountain passes before you drop into Zermatt, like the small town at the base of the mountain of the Matterhorn. And that's what I did. And I didn't really understand the concept of like heavy loads and biking with a big backpack on. I had no bike bags. I just bought one of those weird long bottles that like it's like a 2.5 liter bottle.
Yeah, with water.
Yeah, but taped it to the frame and then had like an Osprey 45 liter backpack. I had my laptop in the back of in the backpack.
Yeah.
Like my wool suit, like my dress suit. I had a steel bike lock in there because I was like paranoid if someone would steal my bike, and I don't know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, that's a legitimate fear, but your bike lock you used on the route we did was way better.
Oh yeah.
I need to get one of those, by the way. But continue your story.
Those are slick. So there's just like this naive experience. I'm like, just I don't know what to expect. I've never been, I don't speak the language out there, and just kind of navigating the mountains. And I got to a point. I mean, it was in June, and these mountains are tall. Right? I didn't understand the concept of meters and feet.
Yeah.
How that related. Like, so I'm pushing my bike up and over these snowy passes, and it's the kind of thing where, you're post holing through the snow. And my backpack was so heavy that I had to hike the backpack up and then drop it and hike back down and then get the bike and hike that up.
Oh.
Because I couldn't do both at the same time. I was just exhausted. Yeah. Unfortunately, daylight at that time of year is like 11:30 p.m. It's sunsets or something. So I had tons of daylight, but then at like 2 in the morning, I'm way off. Like I can't find the route because of the snow. My batteries, they're like the alkaline battery, they just died.
Yeah.
And so that's my GPS.
Okay.
It's like, well, I don't
like you're getting kind of dire.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I don't think I think I had a paper map. I don't know how to read it. I mean, it was like, I was useless up there.
At this point, how far were you away from where you came from?
I didn't know.
Going?
I didn't know. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know, like, because I'm at the summit now. It's like, maybe 1 a.m. at the summit. I don't know what direction to hike off the mountain.
Yeah.
And I'm hiking, there's snow still up there. And so I don't know. I think I got the GPS I figured out, I guess, where to descend, and I made it, just, at like the tree line now, and I just slept like under a rock, and I was just like wearing my suit from the conference. I was so cold.
Holy shit!
You
didn't have a tent?
No, I had no tent.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. That's not funny, actually. That's actually scary.
I thought I was just gonna ride up and over and drop into town and
get on your laptop and drink a latte.
Yeah, send some emails and.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Holy shit!
So I just had a bib. I had like a bib and like a light rain jacket, and then so I was like obviously freezing. It's like middle of the night. Fortunately, it didn't rain on me. But yeah, so I'm wearing my wool suit. I think I even turned my computer on to get the warmth from the battery. I did have a stove, so I was just drinking hot snow. I just melt snow and
that's cool.
Just drink the hot water.
That's great, yeah.
And I would fall asleep. I was like drinking scalding water down my throat, and but it was a gorgeous night. I mean, I knew I wasn't gonna like die.
Okay.
It was just a very uncomfortable night.
Right.
And the next morning, I just had this amazing single track into the town, and nothing was open yet because it was like pretty early. And this lady took one look at me, and she owned a cafe. She's like getting ready to open the cafe, and she just like called me in. We couldn't communicate other than like hand signals. But she made me a breakfast and a lunch, and I took off the next day, and I just put my head down and try my best to get to the next stop, which is going to be a train, and I was going to kind of bail out on the train and take the train in.
Yeah.
So I finally did. I took the train back to or into Zermatt, got my hostel, and then just slept for like, something like 20 hours straight. It was insane.
Yeah, 3 months.
But that experience was eye opening, to say the least.
Yeah, well, yeah. How did it transform you? I mean,
well,
it's a dramatic experience for
yeah,
sure.
well,
but
it's kind of the way I do things. It's like the mission of like our company now is the lightweight, functional gear where you don't have to experience the pain of that backpack. That pain of that backpack really stuck with me. It's just like manage.
Is that true? I mean, this like sets you on the path to like start making.
Well, so that's why I first started sewing.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Because I had time in grad school, and then I moved to Germany. I lived in Germany for 6 months, and my lab mate taught me how to sew. She was a mother of 2 or 3, and she sewed her children clothes. And I was like, everybody does in Germany.
Right,
yeah. So she taught me, and I
like on a sewing machine proper.
It wasn't industrial, but
like a home sewing machine.
Correct.
Like
yeah. So that's how I started making stuff. And that's why I was like interested in making things. So I made like hiking stuff. That's how I first started, like backpacks and tarps. But yeah, that's how it kind of got me on the path to like I was like obsessed with Cuban fiber and like people like doing the Tour Divide on like the minimalist kits ever. And I remember tracking. I used to work through the night, doing like just running machines, and I would have my laptop with I don't know, so Track Leaders was like just getting going with tracking the Tour Divide at that point. And so we were dot watching and just reading blogs about Matthew Lee and what he was doing, winning those early races. And I was just like totally obsessed with like his mentality of how he packed. And then I'm looking at like just 3 months earlier on how I packed.
How long was it between that trip and when you like found out about bike packing? Because I know going into that trip, you weren't a bike packer.
I had no idea what even existed.
You were a 24-year-old kid that didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, people were doing it. I was just whatever.
So how long was that gap between?
It was because like weeks. It happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was like, there's got to be a better way to do this, right?
No way.
I just had the worst experience of my life. Like, how do I make that better? Because like the journey was,
I guess it's not that crazy. But what's interesting about that is like you walked away from that kind of negative experience.
Very negative. Absolutely,
and you were like, I think I want to do that again, but I want to have the right gear.
I was embarrassed, honestly.
Really?
I was really embarrassed at how bad I failed on that. And I was like,
I get that.
It just like drove, like, I was like, all right, I can't let that be my own experience.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
But it doesn't get any better. I mean, it takes a while for it to get better. My next few trips after that they're different, but they're also equally as like stupid and bad.
All right, I'm gonna leave that for another time because I just realized that if I don't talk to you about some gear stuff, that people are gonna be like really mad at me. I think.
Oh,
yeah. We should probably talk about the fact that you actually do make bags and products and stuff. I want to start this one off though.
Okay.
So if anyone listened to the first one, you'll remember maybe that I mentioned that I had bought a bar jam from you, and I picked it up when I was there, and I got to use it on we did on our sub 24 hour that was the first time I ever used it, and we actually got on some semi gnarly single track for about a mile and a half or 2 at the end, and it did fantastic, but that was my only like interaction with it. So since then I've like used the fuck out of that thing, and
I've been watching it, man.
yeah, like it's legitimately good. And I got one better. I'm going to throw this out there. So I started out with the Salsa anything cradle, the one that goes on the front. Okay. So I started out with that, and I'm just going to tell you the truth. Like Karen and I were just in West Virginia, and we were doing an IMBA Epic, and she had that on her bike, and I had the Rockgeist bar jam on mine. I never once had to adjust mine. I mean, this was the rockiest, craziest trail I've ever been in. I live in Texas. Like it was nuts. But I had to readjust hers 4 times, and I was putting something into it, and I don't know what it was. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it looks like it would work, and it usually does. But when shit got really tough, like yours
That's good. That's great to hear.
And this is not a paid ad. I'm
Yeah.
just like saying, and I'm not bashing salsa. I use salsa products. That's just exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
there's your review.
Appreciate it, man. I love it. Yeah.
No,
it's been a popular product. Absolutely.
It's a goddamn good product.
Yeah.
How much is it? It's like
it's not that. I guess compared to anything Cradle, I think it's cheaper, but
it's a lot cheaper. Is it 80?
Yeah, I think it's 83 for the smaller strap size, and then or maybe even 75.
Yeah.
I think it's 75, then 83 for the large. And if you get both the small and large straps, it's in the 90s. But yeah,
it's very. In my opinion, for that system, that is a really good deal because it's lightweight. It's extremely easy to use. It's my favorite bag. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the systems that you put on your bikes and the different things, and everyone's different. So this is just like my thing, right? Like,
yeah.
I love that system.
And so we have an opportunity to make that in Asheville now. And so I've gotten so much good feedback from it. I think I'm going to pull the trigger and get that machine at home.
Are you dropping hot knowledge right now?
Yeah, that's been, I think, the biggest goal that I've been kind of saving up for.
Yeah.
Is to get that machine at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing that I respect about you is you really are all about your community, being local, you know, and I mean, you're building up the community with the bikepacking and stuff. Like, it's not just
they've done so much
money.
for me and my business. It's absolutely I mean,
it's communal. That's the way. Like, you're doing it the way that you want it to be done, the way it should be done.
Yeah,
you know,
and it's fun. It's a lot of fun to work on these projects.
Yeah. All right, see, we're getting off topic again. I'm not very good at talking about gear.
No, I mean,
but I do. I mean, obviously, I love gear because I can wax poetically about that. But tell us what is new or what's going on.
Yeah, so the newest product we just released, this probably about 2 weeks ago, is the Dr. Jones bag.
Oh yeah, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, that was a really fun bag, and I'm really proud of that bag because Aaron did a lot of work on that, and this week is Aaron's last week, and I was working so hard to get that released while she was still like working.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so Aaron did a lot of work on that bag,
and that must have been cool for her to like. I know it was pretty well received. I think.
Yeah,
so, it was probably really neat for her to be able to like she left her stamp.
Definitely. Oh, absolutely. And she's done so much work behind the scenes, where she doesn't really get credit for. And like, because she has like big brand experience. She worked for Patagonia and Down Brand Outfitters. So that was a lot of insight that I didn't have.
Yeah.
And she kind of she's been with me about 2.5 years, and so now she's off and she has a government job in Boston.
Yeah.
So
fucking government.
I know. I was trying to tell her like bikepacking stuff is way more important than the future of textile and military stuff, but
I don't understand any of those words.
Yeah. Apparently it pays better. I don't know why,
but whatever, Aaron.
I
mean,
so that bag, obviously for the Jones bar, and it's their H bar or Loop H bar. I don't know what the proper name is, but yeah,
I own one. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's something
but
that.
they have a handful of styles of that bar type. And the bag right now, it's meant for the one that is like the flat. So they have a riser H bar,
right?
And
which it goes up to like 2.5 inches. By the way,
no, 5. Yeah, they have a model at 2.5, and then there's this another model at 5.
Oh shit!
So yeah,
okay.
So that bag came out, and we did a press release, like dispatch on bikepacking.com, and that drove a lot of sales, like because we made 10 in stock ones, and not much, but those 10 went really quick, and then people started ordering like custom colors. But I got a lot of emails asking if we were going to do for the riser H bars, because they're certainly if you have a bike that has a slam stem or maybe the steer tube is like really low, the riser H bar is great because you're sitting up a little bit. But now you have this kind of weird angle between the inner bar and the outer bar.
Yeah, my buddy has the 2.5 one, 2.5 inch one.
So I just bought one of the 2.5 ones, and we're gonna come out with a version that is specifically made for either the 2.5 or the 5-inch riser. So that is coming, and I told all the people that emailed me just to kind of wait. And it'll be a selection feature on the website.
Were you a little surprised by that demand?
Yeah, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't know the bar existed.
Right.
It's like
I didn't know until Ryan got one. I got the 2.5. Right. The what?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm on Instagram.
Somebody,
I know what's up.
The first email came in. I had to Google it. I didn't know what he was talking about.
Well, Ryan's an early adopter, and apparently a lot of your customers are too.
Yeah,
that might be the way to go. Are you still rocking the Jones bar?
Well, Julie is. Yeah, she has it on her bike. I don't have it on mine.
All right. Yeah, Carrie's using one too.
But now.
So I just realized I forgot because we just converted hers to Jones bar. I need to get one of these.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, for real. Like I just talked about how this also cradle wasn't working, so I'd like to place an order.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man, get that thing out of there.
I'm trying. Oh, that's so funny. Oh.
But yeah, so now I have that riser. I'm gonna put that on one of my, I don't know which bike, but I'm gonna put it on one of my bikes. It will make sense if people don't know what this is. Just Google it, but it'll make sense. It'll make sense when you see it.
Describe what it's like, because it is.
Oh yeah.
Can you describe it, or is it just kind of funky?
No, I mean it is funky, but it's functional. That was the goal, is to make it functional. Because we looked at all the Jones bar bags out on the market right now, and they all seem like they're the same. Just tiny bag and that little circle.
Right.
Yeah. And it's like that. You can't bike pack with that. I mean, we asked a ton of people that ride those bars. And they're like, oh yeah, but that's my commuter. Or they don't take it out on like big trips.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to get stuff in it. So what we did was, we still have that center console, like that little circle bag that you drop right in between the two bars. But then we added like the vinyl phone wallet case on top of it, and it's the equivalent of like a backpack brain. And so you can rise it up depending on how stuffed it is. And so there's a really generous sil nylon closure underneath it, and you can just pack it up and like just open the brain up so it sits taller.
How many inches will it go up?
Oh, it will go up probably 4 or 5 inches.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I noticed your like handlebar bags are like, they'll go way up.
Yeah. Well, we do 3 sizes of those now.
Ah.
So that's also something new. We have an XL, a large, and a small.
Do you know what size I have on mine that you did?
Is it here?
Yeah, it's over there. But
this is Miles right there, and that's an XL.
Okay, I think that's what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like impressive. It's really cool.
Yeah,
and it comes in.
It's tall and narrow, and it's got that non-drive side zipper pocket on the panel, like a mat pocket.
Oh right.
Yeah.
I use that all the time.
But the cargo net is also kind of like what makes it funky.
Right.
For the not the top 2 bag, but the Jones bar bag. It has that detachable cargo net. It's meant for initially for wet tent bodies and like just wet stuff that can dry out while you ride. So a lot of people, what they do is they'll like bring 2 pairs of socks and then wash one in a river and then leave them on the front of the handlebars during the day so they dry out. So if you want to do something like that, or even just pack the dry tent body in there, whatever, it's just get it out of the way. You can kind of fit a bunch of random bulky items in that cargo net.
I mean, you could do like pots and pans.
Yeah.
I mean, you can kind of put whatever you want.
Bananagrams and
whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, what kind of capacity? Yeah. I mean, do you have like a liter capacity?
I think we usually use the styrofoam to measure it, but I didn't get a chance to do that yet.
Okay.
But I think it's about 9 liters.
Oh, wow. That's more than I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's what my front roll that I always use is a 9 liter. And I mean,
and it's all in the brain on how, like, if it's expanded or not.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to take advantage of all the space that's there. But
right.
Yeah. You had to say that for liability reasons. So what are there? I mean, I'm trying to think if there's any other. Well, the Space Link, because you launched the Space Link after our interview.
It's been about a year now. Yeah.
Was it after or was it?
I don't know. I think it's been a year.
No. It was right when. That's right.
Because I remember at the summit last year, I had like just a few. I had all the I gave them to like just a few people.
No, we talked about it. I'm remembering now. I finally got one though. That's the thing is I finally broke down. Well, I don't know if I broke down, but I finally got around to like ordering one. And it's a product that like I don't like when you explain it to him, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. But then when I got it, I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know how you explain it to people like, well, but like it really does like, well, I remember you said it solves 2 problems. It's for the slam stem.
Yep.
Right. Where you don't have a lot of space.
Yep.
And so you don't have a place for your Velcro. Listen, this is a test. We'll see if I remember. You don't have a place for your Velcro, for your top 2 bag. And then it just cleans up your cockpit. So if you have a stem bag on this side, a stem bag on this side, and then you have your top tube bag,
Yeah.
and you have all those straps trying to wrap around your stem, it's just better.
It definitely cleans it up, and it also keeps like for your top tube bag, especially these tall ones, the XLs. The higher you connect those bags to your steer tube, the more stable.
Yeah.
And so you can put the space like above or below your stem. If you put it above your stem, it's just higher up on the bag, so it doesn't flop as much.
No, that's another thing. I'm glad you mentioned that. A huge, like, my bags were always like flopped over, which is just like an anal thing that like bothered me. You know,
it's amazing. Some people just deal with it and they don't even know what's happening.
I know, but I'm one of the ones that like I look down and it's always a little bit this way, and it just bothered me.
Yeah.
You know, but this is like super clean and tidy.
Yeah.
That's another good one. Yeah, I mean, dude, you're rolling out bangers.
Well, yeah, we had a good like queue of pipeline stuff that we just got, and these aren't like, they're smaller stuff,
Well, I mean, Rome wasn't built in a day or whatever it was, but I remember something else from our first interview. You said, I think, like, you worked 3.5 years developing the company before you actually like went all in on it.
Yeah.
So like my kind of follow up to that is like, is what we're seeing now just like everything that you've already kind of thought of, but like, is it?
It is. Yeah. Yeah, it is. And, all that riding, I used to do a ton of riding before it was full time.
Yeah.
And it was just, I keep an Excel sheet of just ideas, and they're all in various stages of, completion. It's a pretty, you want to talk about being organized. It's a pretty anal kind of system of like things that, like getting things out of the pipeline and into reality. Because that's really hard to do. Everyone has an idea about some great product.
Oh yeah,
or some, and
I got one I'll tell you about after this.
Oh, there you go.
I will. I'll tell you, man. But anyway, go ahead.
But it's the first thing is identifying the problem. That's the biggest thing. So I have just a sheet of problems, and the solutions they come and go as as you kind of understand the problem. But yeah, I have a sheet of problems.
Great way to start looking at something. You start with the problem.
Always start with the problem. Yeah. And I tell you, when anybody says, "Hey, I got a great idea for something," think about what problem are they having that they need this great idea. And honestly, I really learned that in my last job, because we would work with all these doctors that would have these they would pitch like IP to us. Like, we were a medical device company, and we would get doctors that come in with this product, and they would try to sell us on, like, do you want to buy the IP for this product?
Intellectual property?
Yeah, intellectual property, yeah. And so the biggest thing wasn't their solution. It was, what problem were they solving? And then let's solve that either together, or maybe just we'll solve it by ourselves.
Okay, yeah.
And that was like the first time I kind of really understood, like, making products that are useful.
Oh, that clicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
All right. So where do you go from there?
Well, and that's the hard part, is getting like maturing these ideas into like prototypes, and using the prototypes, testing the prototypes, getting feedback, actually building them. And then, we do things on a really small scale. So it's like, if we need to like order a really expensive part, like, it's not out of the realm of possibility, because we're not trying to squeeze profit margins. We didn't do any retail, right? So, we sell direct to the customer, which gives us a good window of, I guess, a budget for the materials and how much time the product takes to build. But those are kind of the later stage of, making something like the Jones bar bag.
Yeah.
We really gonna have to optimize how it's made, because we never made a like.
Oh yeah, it's a whole new system.
Right. Right. Exactly.
We're back to systems.
So to make a bunch of those, we made, with the first batch we made 10, and then the next batch, ideally we want to make more, and we want to spend less time doing it.
Yeah. Well, therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
That's why you're the boss. I don't have to figure these things out. I just have to ask you the questions.
Right. Like, you
have to go back and figure this shit out.
You just hit the buy button, and then I gotta.
Yeah. Exactly. Ding ding. Oh, that looks nice.
But yeah.
And they always fit good too. That's one thing I've noticed. Like, not just for myself, but every time someone buys one, well, not every time, but I see a lot of comments about the fit. Like, when you order a custom bag, And people even here, there's a lot of your bags up there, by the way.
But this community has been so supportive.
Well, it's great to see.
I see people, I come to these races a lot, and I don't race all of them, but I come and say hi, and just to catch up with people.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing my dog. I'm just like having fun.
Yeah. It's your people.
Right. And I see these bags from like 3 years ago, like when I was like sewing in my apartment, and they're awful. They're absolutely awful. And I'm telling you want a new top tube bag? And like, nah, I'm gonna rock this one.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, it's sentimental, man. I don't know. I do. I get sentimentally attached to an inanimate object that is with me in some pretty crazy shit. It's like all you have is this. Like some people love their home.
yeah.
Okay, well, this is my home. I'm just taking it with me, and so I get it. Like they have like. I mean, they've been through so much with that bag, but that's the cool thing about it for you is like you're seeing like that bag has been everywhere.
But I want it to work better for them. It's like
you're the scientist.
But really though,
they're happy though. Don't you think they're happy?
They could be happier.
You're so funny.
Yeah, no, but really, I want to definitely take a moment to thank everybody like in the Southeast that supported me, and even Neil and Lindsay, when they gave me the green light, they were in Colorado at the time, but there's so many people that have and yourself that have kind of stuck with me and gave me chances. So that's really I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Well, that sounds like a pretty good place to end it, huh?
Thank you for catching up, man. It was great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing all the other interviews that you got dialed up, man.
Oh yeah.
The future is bright for you, man.
I got some good ones.
Oh.
But I got you, which is the most important. High five.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Thank you for sticking around. Again, I really appreciated that interview. It was so great to sit down and catch up with Greg again and see how well he's doing. And he's a really interesting guy, working it hard. He obviously cares and is passionate, and he's putting everything into it. And in my opinion, he's doing it in a good way. He's really trying to be community centric and really create good products and good services and value for us, the bikepacking community. So keep it up, Greg. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, there is still a discount code at Rockgeist. So we started this last year, and if you go to his website, do the checkout thing, and there's going to be that, enter a coupon code, just put in Bikes or Death. I think it's all one word. If that doesn't work, then space it out, but I'm pretty sure it's all one word, Bikes or Death. That gets you 10% off. None of that goes to me. It's all for Greg. He loves the show and wants to support it and wants to give you guys a little thank you. So from Greg to y'all, there's a 10% discount. So go check that out if you want. All right. Well, like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm super bummed, but the Amazon affiliate link is down. It is not working. Jeff Bezos took careful examination of my account and realized that I was violating the terms of service. I have no idea what I did, but I'm going to try to get to the bottom of that and see if we can get that rectified. But now we have a new initiative. It's van time. It's time for the Bikes or Death podcast to step up. I want to go from my little Tupperware that I carry around with all my gadgets and recording equipment, and I want to put all that into a sweet van with some nice graphics on the side and let people know what's up. Obviously, it'll say "Ride Your Damn Bike" on the back. It'll be awesome. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I got to get the van done, and maybe we'll do like a contest for some sweet graphics to go on the side. I think that would be awesome. I'd love to get. I'm not artistic at all, so I really respect people who are, and I know that we have a lot of creative people listening. So anyway, but that'll be step 2. Step 1 right now is help fund the van. So please, if you can, even $1 helps. It's all anonymous. So if you want to be cheap and only put in $1, it doesn't matter. It's all anonymous. Just click anonymous. It'll help. And I appreciate it. And if everybody put in $1, we could literally go buy that van tomorrow. It's that easy. I'm not trying to get some lavish, extravagant $30,000 van with a $30,000 build out and live in there and blah, blah. No, I just want a cool van. I want to be able to record people. I want to be able to go on location. And I want to be able to sleep in there. That's really it. Give me a bed, give me a table and a couple microphones, and I'm a happy camper. I'm pretty simple. And other than that, We just hit 100 patrons, which is awesome. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. It means so much to know that you have like a little bit of money that you can count on every single month, and it helps. I'm using that money to buy merchandise, to buy shirts, to hopefully finish out a van or whatever I'm going to do. So a lot of the money that I rely on to help grow the podcast is coming from my patrons. So if you want to be a part of that, please head over to Patreon. Again, you can find links on my website, or you just go to patreon.com and it's Bikes or Death. And you can sign up again for as little as $1 a month. I'm going to send you a sticker. There's like merch that you're going to get, but more importantly probably is I do custom videos now, custom content just for my patrons. I want to give y'all a little extra, because it really does mean that much that I'm willing to put in a little bit more extra effort. So if you're a patron and you ask me to do a video on my hammock setup or my cooking setup, or you want to hear a more detailed recount of a trip that I went on or anything, I mean, just post a question on there, send it to me, and I will try to make that happen. The other thing that I do for my patrons is I let them know who my guests are going to be ahead of time and give them an opportunity to ask any questions that they might be really interested in, and then I'll bring those questions to those guests. So I hope those are some pretty neat incentives that will hopefully bring more value to my patrons, because I really do value them. So thank you for all of y'all. Other than that, just go over to the website and check out all the sweet merchandise we got. We got Ride Your Damn Bike stickers and Bikes or Death stickers and patches, and we got shirts. We got all kinds of cool stuff. So if you're looking to fancy up your bike with some stickers, or your bags with a patch, or you're looking to fancy up yourself with a nice shirt, whatever it is, we got you covered. So head over to Bikes or Death and check that out. I think that's it. I appreciate y'all. Thank you. This first year has been absolutely a windstorm. I kind of feel like I've just been like swept away. I started it. I had no idea how it would be received, or what would happen. And it's been a pleasure. It's been fun. It's been challenging. I've learned a lot. I feel like I've grown a lot as a person. I've learned a lot from a lot of my guests, or I've learned a lot from almost all of my guests, and it's been a true pleasure. And I've also got the opportunity to meet a lot of the community and just interact with y'all on the internet. And I feel very fortunate to be in this position, and I'm fortunate to be in this community of awesome people. So yeah, let's get that van so I can go out there and meet more of y'all. I think it's gonna be good. We'll do some rides. Oh, and one last thing before I forget. Next week on the show, we have Joe Cruz. You have heard me mention him in the episode with Miles. You've heard me bring it up in this episode with Greg. And next week, you're going to get to hear from the man himself. I'm super excited. It wasn't planned. He was standing there. I saw an opportunity. I drug him over and said, "Hey, man, can we do it?" He said, "Sure we can," because he's awesome. So that's next week. Can't wait for that one. But until then, go ride your damn bike.
You load up your bike, you ride away from home. You could be with your friends or you could be alone. You ride for a day or maybe more. You just love being in the great outdoors. Everything you need is strapped to your bars, including that new pillow you got from Santa Claus. And then you think, oh shit, to yourself. You left that super lightweight tent on the living room shelf.